Hey guys, and welcome back to my showcase world where I talk about various Minecraft tutorials. And in this one, instead of talking about potions, I'm going to be talking about these people behind me called Illagers. They are found in a variety of places throughout Minecraft, although you typically will find them in their respective structures / events. And so I'm going to be going over quite a few things about these guys, such as where you find them, as well as various statistics about them. Now, I will say this much, this is meant to be for Java Edition, although quite a few of these things are applicable for Bedrock Edition. There are a few differences, like the drops, however, the majority of these things apply between versions. So, Illagers are a category of mob, including the Vindicator, Pillager, Evoker, Ravager, and sort of the Witch. Each of their drops are shown here, with this guy here, the Vindicator, dropping emeralds and occasionally his axe. Pillagers occasionally dropping their crossbow or arrows. Evokers dropping the totem of undying, which will destroy itself instead of allowing you to die, though you have to be holding it at this time, as well as emeralds. The Ravager also drops saddles, and the Witch drops all of these things here: sputterize, stick, glass bottle, glowstone dust, redstone dust, gunpowder, and sugar. However, witches are not really an illager because they only spawn during raids. Okay, never mind, I explained that terribly. So, witches are not considered to be illagers. However, they do spawn during raids, which are when most illagers show up. So, that's the reason why I've included the witch here. I'm not going to talk about it ever again. Just witches spawn during raids. By the way, so where do you find illagers? During Pillager Outpost, inside of Pillager Outpost, sorry, although you only find pillagers there. Woodland Mansions, although you only find Vindicators and Evokers there, and raids and patrols. Raids containing all the different mobs shown before, including witches, and patrols will just be pillagers, unless you're in Bedrock Edition, in which case it can occasionally contain Vindicators. Vindicators are the first type of pillager I'm going to be talking about. So they have 24 health, and in easy mode they deal 7.5 damage, which is equal to 3 and almost 4 hearts. In normal difficulty, they deal 13 damage, which is equivalent to 6.5 hearts. And on hard mode, they deal 19.5 damage, which is almost all of your health. Now, if you name one of... Oh, just destroy the sign, but if you name one of these guys Johnny, they will attack indiscriminately, except they won't attack pillagers. And in case one of you guys decides to be super clever and just block your shield at one of these guys, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the axe disables the shield, meaning you die anyways. Continuing on, I was curious, I did decide to test how much damage they do compared to the various armor levels. So, you can survive 3 hits of these guys in easy difficulty with a set of leather armor, normal difficulty with iron armor with a single piece of diamond armor, in hard mode with a diamond set of armor with a single piece of netherite armor, or with protection 1 with 1 piece having protection 2. However, these are not exact results. I tested them by being attacked by this guy and then seeing if I could survive 3 hits with the various conditions. There might have been other factors involved, however, this is just general tips. This is the minimum armor. I definitely recommend going all out. If you're going in easy difficulty, don't be like, oh, I can just wear leather armor and invade a woodland mansion. You should not go into a woodland mansion wearing leather armor. That would be a very, very bad idea, especially considering that there's not just one of these guys at a time, but there's multiple. However, these are just a general basis as to surviving 3 hits. The next guy we're going to be covering is the Evoker. They also have 24 health, which is 12 hearts, and they deal 6 damage, which is consistent between difficulties, actually. They can summon Vexes, which are these annoying little guys here. They're the worst. They can also summon these Fangs here, which are always dealing the 6 damage. And they also can change the color of sheep. Except they can only change blue sheep into red sheep. Any other colors will not be changed. And they also summon Vexes in groups of 3, and they don't just summon an individual Fang. They will be summoned in various shapes, such as in a straight line towards the player or in a circle around the Evoker. Pretty much these Fangs are out to attack you. Now, what are these little Vex things? Well, They are the little, like, demon creature summoned by evokers, and they can phase through blocks, which makes them really annoying. They only have 14 health, though, which makes them quite a bit weaker than the rest of these Illagers, sorry. In easy difficulty, they deal 5.5 damage, which is almost 3 hearts. In normal mode, they deal 9 damage, which is 4.5 hearts. And in hard mode, they deal 13.5 damage, which is almost 7 hearts. And they, as said before, they can go through blocks. And I did not do the armor analysis on these guys, because if I'm being completely honest, Vindicators are the only things on this list that I've struggled with supremely, but Vexes have been super annoying in my experience. These guys are the reason why I don't raid Woodland Mansions, and Vindicators are the reason why I don't do raids. For continuing on, we also have the Pillager, which is the term I keep on mixing up with Illager. They really should not have just had a one-letter difference between these. Either way, these guys also have 24 health, and they deal various amounts of contact damage depending on the difficulty. So, just don't walk into them. The difficulty damage for that being 2 on easy, 3 on normal, and 5 on hard difficulty. But their main weapon, if this guy would turn around, thank you, is a crossbow, which in easy difficulty does 3 to 4 damage, which is 1.5 to 2 hearts. And normal difficulty, it will do 2 hearts of damage. And in hard difficulty, it'll do 2 to 2.5 damage. In other words, these guys are not that bad to experience. Last on the list, we got the big guy here, Ravagers. They have 100 health, which is 50 hearts, making these guys very tanky. On easy difficulty, they only deal 7 damage, which is 3.5 hearts. On normal difficulty, they deal 12 damage, which is 6 hearts. And on hard difficulty, they deal 18 damage, which is 9 hearts. When compared to the Vindicator, these two deal almost exactly the same, with Vindicators dealing slightly more, but these guys having significantly more health. Meaning, if you're trying to take out the damage dealers, focus on Vindicators first. They're a bit more squishy. Occasionally they will spawn as a Pillager jockey with a Pillager on those guys' backs, meaning that not only are they highly maneuverable, tanky, and deal a lot of damage, they also have a friend that can deal ranged attacks. However, due to their large size, you can kind of hide away if you've killed all the ranged attackers. And additionally, if they hit your shield, unlike Vindicators, which will just continue to plow through your shield, these guys will actually be stunned for a few seconds, allowing you a free hit. Meaning, you should bring like 5 shields to a raid, because these guys will break them very quickly, but you can use them to cheese these guys a little bit. Now that we're done covering the mobs here, because I'm not talking about witches again, we have the various ways that you can find these guys. We have patrols, which will randomly occur. In Java Edition, they will not happen while you're near a village. They always contain a pillager captain, and I'd recommend drinking milk if you do not want to have a raid, because whenever you kill a captain, which is the pillager with the banner sticking out of his head, if you do not drink milk after killing the captain, you will then have to deal with a raid the next time you go into a village. And it takes something like an hour for the effect to wear off, which is the reason why I recommend drinking milk. Unless, of course, you want to have a raid. Pillager outposts are these weird little tower things found in the middle of random locations, which always contain just pillagers. And they have a loot chest on the top of the tower, and the pillagers there will respawn, which is quite nice, because that's where you can easily build a raid farm, because they will occasionally spawn in captains, meaning that you may actually find multiple captains at an outpost. Woodland mansions are found in the Dark Oak Forest, and they contain Vindicators and Evokers, meaning that you have to deal with both Vexes and Vindicators here, which is a very bad time. However, there are various hidden rooms, as well as very good loot there, meaning that this is kind of an end-game place to visit, which makes sense because of how hard these guys are to fight. But you can find a lot of really good stuff in there, such as Notch Apples. Notch Apples being these golden boys here. And raids will happen whenever you have the Bad Omen effect and you go into a village, and they contain several waves with like a big boss bar on the top of the screen, and I'd recommend using bells. I'm going to place down this bell and ring it, and you can hear it ring, and then little particles, and now you can see through walls where all the pillagers are, meaning that that one random guy that you couldn't find earlier, you can now find him and then kill him, allowing you to complete the raid. I'd recommend not purposefully encountering these guys until you are definitely prepared. I personally like fighting these guys with a nice set of enchanted diamond armor. However, I also am weak and I'm not good at PvE combat, so I may not be a good standard for that. Which means that you guys should just fight these guys whenever you are ready. Other strategies for raids are to fight the guys that will take you out most frequently. So I recommended taking out Vindicators first because they're more squishy than Ravagers, and they can fit through small spaces. However, if Vexes are more your problem, then you should kill Evokers first, so they can't summon them, and then other people. However, most of the time when you're doing one of these raids, it's not extremely organized which one that you encounter first. However, it's nice to have a bit of a plan going into these things, as well as filling in little holes where they can get caught in, because while convenient at times, it can be so annoying if one of them ends up in a cave, and you have to go caving to find the guy that you have to kill. Then you kill them, then you have to get all the way back up to the surface. By the time you get back, you may not have a village anymore. So I'd recommend either like sealing off caves before you start a raid, or just doing something to try to make sure that your village does not get obliterated, because villages are really hard to replace. However, that's just about it for this tutorial. Well, more of a showcase here. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to like this video, share it with a few friends, because these things are a pain to make, especially when they start despawning, which is the reason why I actually have given all of these guys name tags, because by the time I walked all the way over to there, the people on this side had despawned, which I will say is not a good day, especially when you're trying to get one of these guys the captain head on. So if you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a comment and like. Maybe subscribe as well, although these videos are more of a bit of a side project for me. However, it is nice to get a bit of recognition because these videos are a pain to make. So I hope that you guys have a very good day, and I will see you guys around.